Central government recently tightened stock holding limit on wheat as prices show little signs of ebbing despite increased liquidation of inventories. Government has imposed these stock limits to manage the overall food security situation in the country and also to prevent hoarding and unscrupulous speculation. New limits state that trader or wholesaler can now hold about 250 tons of wheat versus 1,000 tons of wheat which was allowed earlier, implying a decline of about 75%, while retailers can hold 4 tons of wheat in each retail outlet versus 5 tons earlier. What impact will this have on retail wheat prices? And to decode this and more, we now have Mr. Sumit Gupta, Managing Committee Member of IPGA or IPGA, Indian Pulses and Grains Association, now joining us. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. And the government has undertaken a slew of measures in order to keep a check on domestic wheat prices. Today evening, we of course have auction. What do you expect? What kind of impact do you expect on wheat prices?
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am. It's a very important question and very interesting question when it comes to wheat. Why? Because the wheat is central to Indian food planning. The production of crop is around 100 million tons, 112 million tons by government data. And you have used a very interesting word while you were talking about wheat. You said government is managing the wheat supply and demand situation. For a country which is 1.4 billion people and a production of 100 million tons, if it comes to management of stocks, then it is not good for the consumer. And that is where personally I believe that we need to come into a comfortable wheat stock situation, which does not or not necessarily can only be done by imports, but government has to take a 1, 2, 3 year outlook on wheat rather than a 3 months outlook. And that is where I believe that till the time we will only look towards management and a band-aid approach towards the prices will not be able to bring food supply security to the most poor strata of the society, because they are the one who suffers because of the food inflation in the worst possible way.
Understood. We get that point. And since you expect the government to undertake a couple of other measures, do you expect that the import duty on wheat, which currently is at about 40%, to be lowered by the government anytime soon to manage the domestic supply situation?
History is the best, precursor to make an analysis on that. I will put this way: we are just about to harvest wheat in the country. We plant almost 32 million hectares of wheat, and approximately 20 million farmers depend on wheat farming in the country. Personally, I don't believe that government may potentially reduce wheat duty at the time of harvest, because it can adversely impact Indian farmer. So I see a very limited scope of duty going down, at least in June or July, till the time procurement season ends for Government of India.
Expect the government to lower import duty on wheat, which currently stands at 40%, because it is the harvest season. But
Yes.
help us understand, how have prices moved over the last 2 to 3 months in the domestic market?
It's a very interesting question again, because when you're putting me in, you are actually today giving the most toughest questions. Because what is the role of the government today? Role of the government today is to make sure that market prices come below to MSP. Actually, government is trying to reduce farmer realization to help farmer. I think there cannot be a more dichotomous situation or statement than that. So at this moment, government is increasing stock availability in the country, putting stock limits, increasing OMSs to reduce wheat prices in the country, so that the prices which are somewhere between 30 to 32 rupees range across the country comes down to 24250, which is around 25% lower than the prices where they are today. And hence, I believe that all the actions which government is taking today are driven by compulsion, because government need to at least buy 24 to 26 million tons of wheat in the coming procurement season to manage PDS and minimum OMSS allocations. Without that, government cannot manage food security of the country. So we have a very tough road ahead of us.
Okay, and rising temperature has already raised concerns about crop and production for the next year. Do you also pencil in lower production for the next year?
Actually, it's let's look at last 3 years, because that will give you an answer of the situation what we are in today. As per government data, we had record production in 2024 23, we had a record production in 2024. But government stock didn't go up. What does it mean? It means supply and demand is matching. And that takes us to 2025. That means we need record production in year 2025 also. Otherwise, we'll not be able to match our demand and supply situation. Within that context, as you have mentioned about temperature specifically, it is largely a problem in north of India. Central India temperatures are high, but evenings are warm. Today, I will not raise any big concern on a big production drop because that will give a wrong picture. I think if temperature continues to rise in next 15 days as we get into March, especially in north of India, then the biggest concern will be UP, Haryana, and Punjab, which are the main procurement region for Government of India also. So next 15 days are most critical. Till today, I will not raise flag on reducing production as of now.
So next 15 days will be crucial as far as temperature and wheat production is concerned. But we were talking to an expert last week, and as far as I remember, government production target for the full year stands at about 113 million tons. And experts believe that this could be lower than what the government has guided for. Would you concur with this view?
If we talk about supply and we don't talk about demand, supply number has no meaning, or demand number has no meaning till the time we don't talk about supply. Why I'm making this statement? If government is talking about a production of 113 million ton, everybody should ask government what is your demand estimate. If your demand estimate is also 113 million ton, then it is okay. If I am a private trader, I take a production number of let's say 100 million ton and my demand number is also 100 million ton. That means there is no difference between how government is seeing production and demand and how I am seeing production and demand. What is more important for us to see that why in spite of having big production and government number of 112 to 113 million tons of production in last few years, why we are not able to build stocks. And relative number, whether it's 110, 112, 114, does not make any difference on a standalone basis.
We get that point. So that's the situation as far as demand supply dynamics is concerned and where wheat prices are headed going forward. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. But shifting focus back to copper then, where...
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.